Welcome back to the 20 and 20 Take Two. I'm Jay Swanson, and we're in the 7th arrondissement today. You might be asking, what is a 20 and 20? Well, a 20 and 20 is when I do a video in each arrondissement, all 20 arrondissements of Paris, and release them in 20 weeks, giving you 5 of my favorite things in each. So you end up with about 100 free recommendations, and if you'd like all my recommendations or you want to get to the end of this video, all these empty white spaces here in the middle, then you can jump onto ParisInMyPocket.com. It's the place to go to get everything you need to have the best time in Paris possible, and I think you're going to have a grand old time. However, I'm giving you 100 free recommendations through these videos, so you're going to get a lot of good stuff out of me either way. And yeah, the Eiffel Tower. Should you go up it? Should you not? We can talk about that. Let's go. Terres de Café. This is one of those spots that's popped up, that's been around for a while, and they actually popped up kind of all over the city in a way that was beneficial, a lifesaver, back before we had other lifesavers, which have been mentioned in other parts of this series. But if you were thinking that there's one really famous place in the 7th that you might have been thinking that I was going to go to, because they've been in a bunch of my videos, but they've been in a bunch of my videos, including in the 16th. They're a lifesaver in the 16th. So we're going to another lifesaver here in the 7th, but there are good options here. But in the meantime, a little bit of cold brew. It's one of the happiest things in my life right now is the fact that everybody's doing cold brew. And look at this glass. Look at the style, like extra style points for this. It's serving it in like a whiskey glass. Anyways, a good Terres de Café, especially if you're on the Champ de Mars or you're walking over from the Eiffel Tower, it is possibly the closest option. So hop on over and grab yourself a coffee and then keep on wandering to one of those picnic spots that might be nearby that we might be mentioning soon. Picnic spots? Oh yeah. If you want a real breakfast while you're in France, it's gonna be hard to find. Unless you think of an espresso and a cigarette as breakfast, the French don't really do it the way that, you know, Anglophones, I would say, generally do. Australians, the Brits, and Americans, we all have our ideas of a good hearty breakfast to start the day, like something with eggs and bacon, or I don't know, just fried bread and fruit and sugar. Either way, it's gonna be a little trickier to find. Obviously, you can go to your pastry experience, and you should do the pastry experience. Walk into Henry Bakery, you'll find a pain au chocolat, but if you're looking for something that's a little bit thicker, heavier, more protein significantly, you can do much worse than Zia. Zia in the 7th is an OG recommendation of mine. These guys were in the old game when we were handing out stickers, and you might remember from the last 20 and 20 when I came here, we went around the corner to Justin's new restaurant, which it wasn't even remotely open then. They didn't even have electricity in the basement. They were demolishing the place. I got to ride the dumbwaiter up through the floor. That was pretty fun. But it's been converted into Milagro, which is where we're gonna go for dinner soon. And they recently received a reference in the Michelin guide, which is pretty bananas. So Justin's doing all right. This place is doing well. That breakfast burrito is delicious. The Dutch baby, I was jealous. I kind of wish I'd gotten a Dutch baby, I'm not gonna lie. But I needed the protein today to get me started. Filming all these videos, lightly tiring. But the coffee's good. The burrito was so good. The bacon was crispy. Man, I love a good breakfast burrito, and they're very hard to find. Those are really hard to find here in Paris. So if you happen to be craving one, you happen to be in the neighborhood, you happen to be in luck. But speaking of food, we should talk about picnic spots, shouldn't we? Welcome back to the mappy portion of the video. Thanks to my patron producer, Eric Ramelsberg, for making this possible. He's been one of my OG. I've known him since middle school. He became a patron very early on when I was doing the writing stuff, before I was even doing YouTube stuff. Thank you, Eric, for all the work that you do. It's Eric with a K, for those of you that are curious. Hoping to see him this summer. Thanks to all my patrons for making this possible. If you didn't pick up on this before, these maps, I've made 20 of these maps. Actually, I made 22 of them. I had to do some extra outlines and stuff, but the 20 maps that I'm taking out here, I'm folding up, I'm using like a real map, are gonna be available to my patrons. I'm gonna actually give them away at the end of this series. So if you wanna get one of these, like actual maps that I'm carrying around and I'm flopping about and I'm making a mess with, then jump on patreon.com/Jay Swanson right now. You can be a patron producer. You can get access to my Mapster. You can get discounts on my guide. You can get all kinds of perks, previews, all sorts of stuff. And we'll send 20 of these to 20 patrons who actually want it. I'm gonna do a post and ask for people to leave comments and let me know if they want it. And these will be sent to them. It's pretty exciting. Also, if you like the map design, I got a lot of fun drawing it. I've got a couple map designs. We might do something with those too. We'll have to think about it. But anyways, let's get back to, you know, the 7th. If you want to do a picnic, one of the most classic spots you can do a picnic is going to be on the Champ de Mars, or the Fields of Mars, the literal fields of the god of war. Because the École Militaire is right there, and this used to be a battleground. Not a real battleground, hopefully. Cooper, you're blocking my shot, buddy. Can you sit? Thank you. Anyway, the Field of Mars, or the Champ de Mars, this was a parade ground. This is a place where the military used to train back when parading made actual sense and wasn't just a thing that dictators did to prove that they actually had people that liked them, that they pay to like them. This guy behind me obviously is also, was once the world's tallest building. We could probably go into it someday. If I ever do a video about the Eiffel Tower again, I think I would like to do it from the perspective of like some of the history, because it has some really, really cool stories. As it stands right now, also very tall, still the tallest building in Paris. It's, you know, it's crowded. There's a lot of tourists. And while I would say you want to go up it once in your life, and I do love going up the Eiffel Tower, I only like going up the Eiffel Tower when there's no one else around, which unfortunately is rare. It's difficult. If you're coming at a time that a lot of people are coming, it's going to be tricky to get up there at that point. And the best time to get up there was, you know, during a global pandemic. We're not hopefully going to repeat that anytime soon. So I would say it is worth going up. Maybe go with a tour. Maybe, you know, get some help going up it. But if you're going to do it, just try to. It's like an impossible tip. I don't even know if that's a fair tip to give. Like, go when there's no one around. When is there no one around? I don't even know for sure, because it's always in flux. Anyway, they don't parade soldiers out here anymore. What they do parade is picnics. If you'd like to come have a picnic right here, it's pretty easy to do. There are two things that I would say. One, that you could go watch the picnics video that we already made, and there's a really fun way of doing a picnic specifically right here that you can do through the end of that video. It's a bike tour with Fat Tire. I can put a link below to that as well. They have a whole picnic tour set up, and they go pick up snacks and treats along the way in the neighborhood you've just been seeing in the 7th, and then end up having a picnic on the Champ de Mars with the Eiffel Tower in the background, which is lovely and classic. The other thing that I would say about coming here would be not to stay too late at night. It is safe, and it is a great place to come sit, watch the Eiffel Tower sparkle at night, but after midnight, good things stop happening here, and I know a number of friends that have had stories here that involve them no longer owning their cell phone. So, you know, in very touristed, very densely packed areas where people start drinking and things get late and so forth, it becomes maybe a little bit less safe at times. As long as there are crowds, you're fine, but if all of a sudden you're the only person on the grass and it's like 2 in the morning, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be here. Also, a quick photo tip. You might notice that the Eiffel Tower fits perfectly within the frame. That's because I'm basically as far away from it as I can get and still be on the Champ de Mars. It's a really tall tower. It's really big, and your phone might do okay with like the wide angle, but just as a reminder, you know, big tower takes up lots of space. Get away from it. Not just for the crowds, but also for your photos. This is one good spot to have a quick picnic here in the 7th, but there's another that is equally famous, at least locally, and possibly pretty obvious. Also, two things that I didn't mention when I was talking about this. One is that the Grand Palais Éphémère is over here. It's a temporary exhibition hall that's making up for the fact that the real Grand Palais is currently full. The other was that if you see guys, there's some guys walking around selling souvenirs or bottles of beer or whatever, that's fine. You can buy a souvenir from them. You can buy a bottle of beer or a bottle of wine. It won't be the best and it'll be overpriced for sure, but like, you know, it's a handy service to have them wander by. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be worried about it. You're not going to jail for buying a Heineken from a dude that's carrying a cooler around. It's fine. You'll be fine. Maybe bring your own beer though. I mean, it'll be better, but might not be as cold. So, you know, perks to that. Also, you can try and see how much you can negotiate for those little Eiffel Towers. Always a good goal. Another fan favorite and obvious spot for a picnic would be here at Les Invalides. These lawns stretch all the way out in front of the Musée de l'Armée, and you can see the golden dome that Napoleon is buried under right behind me. This place may be home to some of my favorite little museums, and by little I mean surprisingly large. The Army Museum is pretty fascinating, and then going and seeing Napoleon's tomb is also a quick hack on a hot day if you need to get out of the heat. Really nice and cold down there where Napoleon's buried. I don't know if he's freezing hell over or what he's conquering right now, but he's doing something, and it's removing a lot of heat from the room. So I would definitely go check that out at some point. It's been in a bunch of my videos before. It's definitely worth a visit, but if you're looking for a place to just sit in the grass and enjoy a little bit of a picnic, it's not a bad spot to do it. This is actually also one of the few places you could probably come and throw a Frisbee and not get in trouble for it. Across the way is Pont Alexandre III and the river, which we're gonna take advantage of, because why sit in the grass like this, like a bunch of schlubs, when we could be walking along the river and catching ourselves a drink and doing a little bit of people watching and a lot less traffic and car watching experience, whatever this is. How you doing, buddy? You having a good picnic? Of course, if you are looking for a shadier spot to sit instead of out on the grass, there are 2 little parks on either side of the old hospital, which is what that used to be. You'll find them kind of on the corners. You can get in there. There's some benches, gardens. They're very nice, and you can escape the heat there for a little bit. On either side of this grassy section, there are also trees lining the edges. Not quite as shady, but there is some shade over there and some benches. So you can also see the Eiffel Tower from here, at least part of it. If you do happen to get a little bit thirsty when you're sitting in the lawns of Les Invalides, you can always take a stroll just over to Pont Alexandre III, down the stairs, and you will find Rosa Bonheur and Flo. 2 locations, among many. If you walk along the river, you'll find others as you go, but these ones are easy to find because they're on the map. They're not far from Les Invalides, Alexander III, the bridge that you probably want to see anyways. They've got beer, they've got food. You don't really come here for the beer or the food, although they're okay. You really come here for the ambiance, to be on the water, to have a nice cold drink, and to just, who knows, mingle, maybe meet somebody. Also, if it's a little bit like, I was supposed to get here hours ago and the afternoon went kind of nuts with other work, so I missed the opportunity to get in before the lines formed. If you'd rather just come down and sit on the riverside, you can bring your own drink, sit on the side. We all do that. Have a nice little drink, have a snack, or jump in line, grab a table with your friends, and have a good time. Get on the boat. This turns into a nightclub later. We're not doing that because we have a reservation for dinner, which we got to get onto right now at Milagro. Milagro. This place is amazing. Now, if you were watching my original 2020 and my vlogs back in the day, you probably saw a little bit of the evolution of this place before it looked anything like this. As of 2023, they got a reference in the Michelin guide, which they've got proudly displayed among the booths up front here. So the food here is very much inspired by everybody that works here. Justin's the most French guy that works here, and he's not even French, as he put it. He's from New Mexico. But they put a lot of like really delicious flavors into some old classics, but as well as some new stuff. The ceviche, they've been evolving ever since I first came here, as well as like the steak has a little bit of chimichurri on it because there are Argentinians working here. There's a good mixture of international cuisine combined into something that's delightful, fresh, seasonal, and just high quality and very, very good. Delicious wine list, some good beer if you want it. But before you drink by the Eiffel Tower, you should definitely come over here, or maybe immediately after if you go for a hot drink and then come here for a cool dinner, which might also be hot depending on what you order. Or if you get the ceviche, it might be cool. So good. The lamb that's on today, he did sell pretty hard as being possibly the best lamb dish he's ever had. However, I saw them prepare the steak and puree. I mean, with chimichurri, how can that go wrong? I was feeling really tired. I wasn't sure I was gonna make it back out here tonight, just because, you know, I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. There's a lot going on this weekend, just kind of like nonstop. I mean, I'm happy I got out, but in this moment, right now, as I try to cut this steak, having tasted the puree, and now with the anticipation of putting this delicious meat between my teeth, I'm very happy that I came back out tonight. Perks of the job. I just feel so fancy dining in the 7th at a Michelin restaurant. Who have I become? I don't even recognize myself anymore. So light, so fresh. Exactly what I needed. I told them, just give me, I'll trust you. Give me the dessert that you think I want. They were not wrong. It's exactly what I needed. Perfect end to a hot day. Wow. That steak was amazing. The addition of chimichurri. I might have said chimichurra earlier. I don't know what. Nobody's around to correct me if I say things. I know, but I feel like I might have said chimichurra at some point just because I'm alone. Nobody's here to correct me except for you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. The wine is good. Everything's good. This place is great. It's a fun time. They're hilarious. You're gonna have a really good time if you come here. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Paris in My Pockets 20 and 20 in the 7th. We have 6 more to go, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Go back and watch the others if this is the first one you've watched for some reason. And, go to ParisMyPocket.com, grab my guide. It is the only guide you need to Paris to have a great time at places like this. You're going to have a really good time. And also, thanks to my patrons for making it possible. Really appreciate you. Cheers. Thanks.